What I have here is a Kobalt 40V bush trimmer, hedge trimmer, and it's on an extension. This is one of the best tools I have ever bought. It's given me good service life, but just recently, this part of it is not engaging with that button. You can see that should not be happening. So I'm going to step away from driving intelligence again to do some yard implement intelligence. Follow along. First step is to make sure that the battery is not in here. That's 40 volts, that's enough energy to cause problems. And if this thing accidentally activates, you could lose a finger. I got a T20 torque bit. I'm going to take out these 4 screws in here that hold this cover on and hold this button in. We'll see what the problem is behind there. Okay, so I've taken this hedge trimmer apart, and what I noticed is that I got broken plastic pieces. This is the pin that locks the trimmer blade in place at the angle that you desire, and the plastic around that has broken. So I don't know, it lasts a couple of years for me. I'm a little disappointed in cheap junk plastic to hold this in place given the abuse this thing can take. I don't know, I can't seem to find a parts list for this. I'm going to try to take this piece off and epoxy everything together and see if that fixes it. Otherwise, I'm a little SOL. Okay, to get everybody caught up, in order for me to take this piece off to repair the plastic, I'm going to have to, I had to remove this cover which exposes the motor and the blades. There's a bunch of these torque screws in here. So I'll take this off, clean it up real good, probably just use Joy to degrease it, and then I'm going to put a ton of JB Weld in here or some other kind of epoxy to repair all this. Actually, this mounting location here, plastic is coming apart as well. It just hadn't broken yet, so I'm going to have to fill all this up with epoxy. This is where I need to do most of the work to make sure that this operates appropriately again. Okay, it's the next day. I've epoxied all this, and it looks pretty strong. I've actually put this piece back in. This is the pin that holds the head in the position that you set it in. It was actually pretty difficult to get out of that hole once I put it in there. I needed to shave a little bit of that epoxy off. I was a little worried I was going to break it off when I did that, but the epoxy held. I've really slopped a lot of epoxy in there and around it, and I'm going to put more on it. If you see closely, there's some other cracks that are coming on this. So I'm going to put some epoxy around those as well to really reinforce this. I'm actually trying to call Kobalt to see if I can't get a replacement for this. They don't show it as a replacement part. No replacement parts for this piece. But tomorrow I should have this done and hopefully strong enough that I can start using it again. Done with the 2-part epoxy. I've got to get all these pieces back together, but just to show you what I've accomplished here. It is ugly, and I don't care what this looks like as long as all that epoxy holds what was broken here together. Cleaned up that hole, made sure that this assembly will go together properly. I reinforced locations where I could see cracking. This was glued back on with a lot of epoxy. So hopefully this will hold together properly. I've still not been able to get in touch with Kobalt. You call them up, you can leave your phone number. They'll say they'll call you back. That was 2 days ago. I'm going to keep trying, see if I can't get a replacement part. Let's see if this comes back together. Okay, I took this thing apart because I didn't think about something. I wanted to make sure that there's an exploded view because This has no support on the internet to actually disassemble this trimmer and then put it back together. So I'll start from this side, which is the as you're facing the trimmer from the handle section, it's on the left side. You'll have a long Torx head screw with washers. Those washers actually displace this main washer. The 3 washers displace the big washer. To center that, it goes through a sleeve, a steel sleeve that goes all the way through this plastic piece. There are 2 rings here that I think are installed in here to prevent it from binding. So they install here, one on that side and then one on this side around the wires. Keeps it from binding. Then you have this locking mechanism that slides on here. Then you'll have another one of these washers again, I think, that keeps it from binding, plastic to plastic. Goes on here as such, with another one on that end. So all this sandwiches together around this, and then once you have all sandwiched, then you can, this actually needs to be flipped back around, but it goes inside the assembly as such, and then you can put the final cover back on top that I haven't shown you yet, which is this final piece. This will be the last piece that goes on. I hope that makes sense to you. If not, leave some comments below as once I finish this video. Another quick recommendation. I actually learned this working on the transmission of the truck I have. Put some petroleum jelly on these spacers, like here. That will hold it in place until you assemble it, and the petroleum jelly doesn't hurt anything. Everything but one piece is assembled. I've got these wires tucked in here. There's some slots to make sure that they're not pinched when you reassemble this final. I want to make one note about this bolt here that tightens up this rotating area. It has a self-locking nut on the other end of it. You can make it too tight where this thing won't pivot, or you can make it too loose where it kind of wobbles around. In my case, I wanted it a little tighter than I got it from the factory, just to help support this thing, because I'm not, like I said in the start of this video, I'm not happy with the plastic having to support all this when you're out there doing some heavy lawn work. Just keep that in mind. You can adjust this and see what the tension is. I feel like you want some light tension on this assembly here, not all the weight just sitting on that pin as I had shown it before in that area. Okay, finally got it assembled. Everything looks good and tight, and it's actually holding. So the final test is to see if this thing still works after I completely disassembled it. Perfect. And as I indicated, the adjustment, everything works again. It locks in. Good news. Now I can get even sweatier working on the yard. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. If you have any more questions about this particular surgery I did, let me know. Otherwise, let me know what else you'd like to know about on driving intelligence or home yard intelligence.